Welcome back, Troglodytes, to the Trogly's Guitar Show. Today we have a crazy rare 1981 Gibson Les Paul Custom in a finish you've probably never even seen on one of these before. This is one of the very rare and elusive Candy Apple Red finish. Now, when it comes to Candy Apple Red for Gibson in the 80s, there was a very famous run of standards done in them right after the Heritage 80 series. They looked very similar, they even had a limited edition serial number like the Heritage ones did. But besides that, that's pretty much all you see Candy Apple Red on, except for a few other guitars. Now, I've talked about custom colored 80s Gibsons a lot, and I never mentioned Candy Apple Red because, honestly, I didn't even know these existed. Oops. Now, I did a Google search. Yes, there's been about 3 or 4 other ones show up online, but I'm guessing this one is different from all of them because there was 2 versions of Candy Apple Red. There's red over gold and red over silver. This one is over gold, and that one is a little bit harder to find. And personally, I think it looks better. I've had the red over silver standard, and you can tell there's a huge difference. The silver ones stay bright at pretty much all angles, but here you can see this one turns dark at certain angles, and then it gets light. It really gives it this evil vibe to it. Now you're also going to notice something else here. Look at all this textured finish. Is this a very poor refin job? Because that is what we call orange peel. Why do we call it orange peel? Well, it's because it looks like the peel of an orange, the fruit. It's slightly textured. That is usually seen as a flaw, and technically it is a flaw. But why does that appear on this guitar? Well, Gibson had some issue with their new metallic finishes that they were trying in the early 80s into the mid 80s. At first, this is exactly what happened to all of them. They would get this orange peeling going on and people would send them back for warranty refinishes. That's why it's really rare to find this guitar in such good condition and that it hasn't been refinished. The orange peeling of the finish makes it very prone to the finish like chipping off if you play this guitar. Now it's not just going to rub off from you doing this, but if you have a belt buckle on, you can bet that this finish is going to wear away a lot quicker than their glossier versions. There was a very shortly lived finish called Gold Burst, and it's that finish that is generally associated with this infamous orange peeling effect. So this is kind of a collector's guitar. It is probably as close to new as you're going to find as far as a Candy Apple Red custom goes. You've just got some very light wear and tear. I'm pretty sure I took the original strings off of this thing. But Candy Apple Red is such a beautiful finish. They should definitely do more of it. Now, when I do these reviews and I do the demos, I like to choose a theme. For example, this one, I would like to play a song that has red in the title. But since it's not just red, I was thinking, alright, Candy Apple Red. What song has Candy Apple Red in it? The only thing I could think of was a country song, Little Red Rodeo. There's a part in the song where he says, Texas Plates, Candy Apple Red Rodeo. Not exactly my type of song. Too bad there's not a death metal version of a song about candy apples being overpriced at the fair. Well, you know what? That sounds good enough. Let's go make it happen. Oh, that was fun to write, guys. So overall, this is a very rare finish on this guitar. Let's go ahead and hear how this one sounds in traditional tuning. Now that we know how this beautiful guitar sounds, let's go ahead and review its condition. Now it's only the red finish part that has the orange peeling. The normal glossiness is still there on the face of the headstock. This one's got some light aging to the lacquer, but no major nicks, dings, or scratches. You've got some very minor paint wear towards the top of the headstock, but we're talking very minor. The truss rod works just fine, and we still do have a maple neck. This one is right on the cutoff because it's a late 1981. The original nut is still present, and the frets show very little wear. The only wear that's really on it is just from the strings resting against it in the case its whole life. The seller who sold this to me said it's just been a family heirloom. Nobody really ever played it. The owner died and they traded it in, I guess. Something along those lines. But here it is in all of its orange peeled goodness. This will really show off all that orange peeling, but thankfully there's no areas that are loose or that have been really chipped off on the face of the guitar here. Very clean and nicely aged speed knobs there. There are some scratches on the pickguard. I'm sure I put some of them on there too because this guitar sounds awesome. You have a 1981 date stamped neck Timshaw and a rare 1980 Timshaw in the bridge. Same kind of thing going on with the pots. Your two volume pots are from 81, and then your two tones are from late 80. Very common to see. You have a regular Nashville style bridge and tailpiece. They are original to this guitar. And the gold is just in fantastic shape. The only area that I see like some wear to it is kind of right here on the corner of this pickup. I mean, this guitar really does have a brand new appearance to it. Back of the headstock, our serial number is 83241600, made in USA. This one does have the really cool flip out crank winding tuners, so that's always a nice feature to have on these. It also has the diamond posi lock strap buttons that are also original. The only thing this guitar doesn't have is the 3-point adjustment bridge, but it's a little bit too early for a custom to have that. We still have a volute here. We're getting towards the end of that. And you do have a little bit of stand wear right here. It looks like it's just an impression mark, very minor. And also right here, you've got a little bit of a bubbling to the lacquer. It's not really a ding. It just looks like the gold finish is coming through in that area. So maybe a little bit of the red did flake off there. But besides that, your neck is in good shape. One area I noticed while playing is right here. Once again, that's not a ding, that's just some orange peel that kind of showed up in a line. And if you take a look at some of these vintage gold burst examples, you'll see where that gold undercoat starts to turn green. And you can kind of see that on this example along the edges as well, because somebody's sweat gets in there while they're playing. But thankfully, as of right now, the finish is still intact on this neck. And with the gold undercoat, that's very rare to see. Back of the guitar, very citrusy as everything else. There is one minor little ding right here, and that is about it. The rest of it just looks kind of weird because of the orange peeling phenomenon, but no super buckle wear and tear or anything like that. Once again, everything is in good shape, just some very light wear to this guitar. I mean, all the gold is nearly perfect. If you collect custom colored customs, this is a must-have. Now, if you're a player, I don't know if I would suggest buying this one because A, this is going to be super expensive because of the rare finish, and B, if you were to take this thing on the road, the finish would just start falling off of it. If you're just planning to play this thing at home lightly as a collector, you'll be fine. But heavy road dog might not be a great investment for you at that point. Here we are under Blacklight, the true test to see if this was just a crappy refinish job or an original Gibson mistake. And it is Gibson's work here. You can see those knobs are glowing beautifully. The finish is glowing nice and even. We'll take a look here around the edges. Once again, everything glowing the way it should. You can see right here there's a little bit of clear coat worn. Honestly, this area feels silkier, like maybe it was rubbing against the case there and it kind of polished the finish because there's no orange peel there, but you can see where some of the clear coat has been rubbed out. But that's the only thing on the side. back of the guitar is also looking the way I would expect to see. Now the big one, the neck. Thankfully no wear to the finish on this one, except for that little area right here I was talking about. No breaks, cracks, or repairs. Headstock's looking good, as is the face. So it definitely passes the Blacklight test as its original finish. This guitar retains its original Gibson Generation 3 chainsaw case. It is in great shape. You have all 3 metal latches, no funky smells, and it's good to go. A really rare thing is it still has the lid ribbon. You never see that on Gen 3s. They break off even more often than 1 and 2. Beautiful brown interior. There's not much more to go over about this case. If you think you might be interested in adding this gem of a candy apple red Les Paul custom to your collection, feel free to contact me on my Facebook page, facebook.com/Troglys, Troglys, or check out my reverb shop. Thank you, Troglodytes, for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you tomorrow on the next episode. Take care.